Hi, I'm Zhuzhi from Grenoble University. I will present our paper on the impact of hand use on one-handed backhoe device performance. Backhoe device interaction attracted a lot of interest in the HCI community. Victor and his colleagues used the backhoe device interaction to avoid the occlusion of the screen. Bodish and his colleagues used the backhoe device interaction to create smaller wearable devices. Lotfield and his colleagues combine back and front of device interaction to improve the accuracy and the speed of target selection. And many other researchers use back of device interaction to provide new interaction techniques to enrich users' interaction on the front screen. For example, Corsten and his colleagues use the gestures of simple typing at the back of device to input emoji. Wong and his colleagues use the gestures of simple swiping at the back of device to control the game. DeLuca and his colleagues use the gestures more complicated. They combine a few different forms of strokes on back of device to create a safer way to authenticate our smartphone. Recently, back of device interaction also reached the general public. ZTE designed a phone with a second touchscreen on the back, which allows users to make touch input on both sides of the device. Microsoft also issued a patent for back of device interaction. However, we have little knowledge of users' performance at the back of device. For example, users' performance in steering tasks on back of device was not studied. In particular, it's important to consider one-handed interaction at the back of device. One-handed interaction is commonly seen in our daily life. Huber observed more than 1,300 people using mobile devices, for example, on the street, in the airport, and in cafes. He observed that when they needed to interact with their device, nearly half of them used only one hand, and among these people, more than 30% used their left hand. Sometimes when we're eating, writing, or doing something else, one hand is encumbered, whether the left or the right. In these situations, one-handed interaction cannot be avoided. So, when we interact with only one hand, what is the difference of performance between our preferred hand and the non-preferred one? We addressed this question in our study, and we focused on back-of device interaction. Here on, I began to present our experiment to compare participant performance between two hands on one-handed back-of device interaction. We invited participants to sit down in front of a monitor and place the touchscreen of the smartphone face down to enable back-of device interaction. They interacted with the smartphone with their index finger, and they can see the position of their finger on the monitor. We studied three common HCI tasks: target acquisition, circular steering, and linear steering. On this screen, the red dot presents the position of their index finger. For target acquisition, participants lift their finger to validate the target selection. When they lift their finger inside the target ball, it's a successful selection. Outside the target ball, it's an error. In target acquisition task, each participant made 10 trials with each hand, in each movement, amplitude, target width, and the motion orientation condition. In circular steering tasks, when the participant's finger crossed the start line, they began steering. If their finger stroked over the end line and without crossing the border of the tunnel, it counts as a successful trial. Once they crossed the border of the tunnel, we recorded an error. Each participant made 5 trials with each hand in clockwise and anti-clockwise orientations, and in each tunnel length and tunnel width condition. In linear steering tasks, it's similar to circular steering. Participants steered in 4 orientations: leftward, rightward, upward, and downward. I will present our results. From the left figure, we can see that participants were on average 10% faster with their preferred hand in target acquisition tasks. However, the difference is not significant for two steering tasks. For the error rate, we can see that participants were in average 20% more accurate with their preferred hand. In two steering tasks, participants' preferred hand made in average less error. However, ANOVA showed no significant difference between hands. To conclude, in our experiment, we found that in target acquisition task, participants' preferred hand performed faster and with more accuracy. We found no significant difference between two hands in the two steering tasks. In future work, we will study the performance of other modalities at the backhoe device. For example, in our current experiment, we studied participants' performance with the index finger on backhoe device interaction. Recently, new techniques like infinite touch allows the identification of multiple fingers at the backhoe device. So, in our future work, we would like to further study participant performance at the backhoe device for the other fingers and also for multi-finger interaction. For example, we don't know yet the performance of techniques combining the index and the middle fingers. Thank you for your attention. I will be happy to answer your questions.